Welcome back to the Kieran Cullen football channel. Today we have Rory Jennings, the professional Haaland hater.
That's not true. That's a malicious introduction, Mr. Carlin. That is strictly not true. It isn't. There was never a tinge of hate. There was a huge, more than a tinge of perhaps underestimating, perhaps wishful thinking.
Welcome to a new series where your favourite creators bring 5 football kits they love and 5 that they hate before I give my unprofessional but highly valued definitive judgment. Our first guest is notorious Chelsea fan, Mr. Rory Jennings.
Erling Haaland will not live up to the expectation. I am so bored.
Why won't it?
Because he isn't.
What is your first one?
The 1970 Chelsea kit. It's the kit that Chelsea won an FA Cup final in. Chelsea played a huge FA Cup final against Leeds United. Chelsea and Leeds are massive rivals. They sing about us all the time. We sing about them all the time. And we played each other in one of the most brutal cup finals that the world has ever seen. But the kit that Chelsea wore in this, we actually did a commemoration kit.
Yeah, with the yellow socks.
Yes, 50 years since Chelsea won the cup, we played in this kit in the FA Cup a few years back. And I just think it's so classic. You know, it's nothing but a blue shirt and a club crest, and I think it does everything that it needs to do.
You know what? Look, I didn't expect to like the first one, to be honest, but I really like this. I like when there's just like a little slight colour change. Like they've just gone for a bit of yellow.
This bodes very well for what's coming next, Mr. Carlin. But for focusing on this one, there is nothing to dislike about it. It's simply royal blue with a club crest, and is synonymous with, at the time, you know, like in the 70s, the FA Cup was just under the league. You know, since then it's kind of changed. But there was a time when some people preferred to win the FA Cup than the league. It was that big. And Chelsea's victory over Leeds was, I mean, at the time, the most watched televised thing ever. And I just think that kit is so representative of so much I love about Chelsea.
It's completely inoffensive. Somehow it has like a badge which, if it was released now, would be like the perfect badge because it's interesting, but also incredibly simple to reproduce. So, which I quite like. So I'm gonna give that an 8.5. All right, what is your second kit?
This is one you are either gonna love or hate. If I were to say the words Tangerine and graphite, does that mean anything to you?
90s one. Is it grey and orange?
Yes, grey and orange, or Kieran, Tangerine and graphite.
Oh, it's got the cores as well, doesn't it?
The images I'm hoping that you're going to see are 3 players. One of them is Dennis Wise, who is a true icon to me. Another one is Glenn Hoddle, who is one of the most gifted footballers that this country's ever produced, and also very much at the epicenter of everything good that's happened to Chelsea over the last two or three decades. And thirdly, Ruud Gullit, who is probably one of my favourite ever people to have existed. So those 3 players, all in that kit, it's just a happy era for me. That.
And he also has a chain when footballers used to wear chains, which is just possibly the coolest thing. One of my favourite colours is orange. A pretty strong start. I don't know how well it's aged. It looks incredibly nice in film photos, in the photos directly from the 90s. The score draw one without the cores and the thing is really, really doing my head in.
But this kit now, this Tangerine and graphite, you know, in an era where people are wearing kits as fashionable things to the pubs and to the box park and whatever, is this not a beacon for that? Is this not like the perfect kit to wear on a night out in Haggerston?
I think it qualifies as a festival kit. I think it fits in there.
Perfect terminology.
With some baggy trousers, have it tucked in. It's another good one. I like it. I'm going to go for a 8.4. Pretty much the same as everyone.
Okay, I certainly take that. My third kit here, I love because of what it represents to me. It represents maybe one of my favourite ever Chelsea teams, possibly one of the best eras that we ever had in football. You know, that I think that kind of late 90s into the early 2000s, I think football was perfect. It wasn't completely awash with money. It still belonged to the principles that football was founded on. And yet it wasn't the horrible stuff that we saw in the 80s. They were attainable. They were relatable. Whereas now you think they're all multimillionaires at 18. So this kit, not only does it represent a kit I adore, I think it's a very sexy kit, but I also think that it represents more than that to me. What do you think? The yellow, the blue, the slightly lighter blue than you necessarily associate with Chelsea? What do you think?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't like it. I can tell you don't like it.
I've seen Road Shaw, I think, wear this one down Shoreditch once or twice, or maybe in a video or something. It's not the colours. I think it's the design. I think it's the lines which put me off. It's not screaming out to me as that's nice regardless of the badge. Yeah, I'm going to have to give that a 4.
A 4? That is the bottom end of the Kieran Carlin scale, out of politeness.
No, because it's not abhorrent. I'm not seeing that and being like, ugh, that's what's going on there. That is just I can't even comprehend how they came to that in the design process. I can understand how they did. It's just not scream out to me. It's just a nice thing on my eyes.
I am offended, to be frank.
Good.
I think I may save my reputation with you on this one. This is classically beautiful and not necessarily stereotypical Chelsea. It's a black kit from 2005. Chelsea won the league, so it's synonymous with that. Basically, we went away to Blackburn Rovers, and it was the day that Mourinho said we would win the league. It was only in like February or something like that. Early Feb as well. We went to Blackburn Rovers. We beat them 1-0. Arjen Robben scored the winner, and he broke his foot in the same game, actually. And I think, if I remember rightly, Petr Cech saved the penalty that day as well. But it was glorious.
It's pretty simple, but I'm liking it. I'm liking the grey shorts. I think it'd be hard to find an Umbro Chelsea one from sort of the noughties that I don't like. If I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be buying the Umbro kits from the noughties. As simple as it is, I'm going to give it an 8.2.
8.2. Okay. So I'm back on.
Yeah,
track.
back on form.
Okay. I take that. This is quite nerve-wracking for me here because I'm going off-piste. So this is either going to secure my status with you as being fashionable, or I'm going to completely blow myself up. I'm nervous for your thoughts here.
Okay, first off, Le Coq Sportif, good. Okay, City had them for a bit, and then so it brings back good. I mean, we were probably just losing all the time, but it's still good memories because I'm a child and I had no idea what was going on. Horizontal lines, rare, but I like them. I think it works here, especially with the little red and white dividing of them.
Yes.
The cuffs on the neck and the sleeves, all good. The badge, incredible, amazing, love it. 2 colours, simple, 2 big stars. Stars are always good, especially if they're decorative and there's 3 of them above the badge.
And do you know what? They're actually predicting the future because obviously at that time, this is like a kit from the early 80s. Chelsea hadn't won a trophy for decades, but now they represent our 2 European Cups.
Did the 2 stars mean anything on this?
No, they could only... I'm trying to think. We'd won a league title in '55 and a cup in 1970. Maybe but we'd also won a cup in '71 as well, where we played in the European, not the European Cup, but the Cup Winners' Cup. Let's just pretend that it was foresight for the 2 European Cups that we've won since.
I mean, you'd get more points if they were for decorative reasons, just like the City ones were. And there's something which has come up, which is on an old Everton kit. It's on, I think, a recent Southampton one. It's the neck. The weird, you got a round neck, and then for some reason why, they do like a fake V-neck by just having just a random triangle shape point down. It's like to mimic a V-neck without having a V-neck. It does my head in. Well, I'm going to give it a 7.
That's actually quite a low grade, isn't it?
No, I'm quite harsh. That's like getting a 7 rating as a player in a game.
Okay, not the end of the world then.
Now, your hated kits.
This is so easy. I'm going to say just very quickly 2 words to you, Kieran. Crystal and Palace. This blew my mind for just being so wrong. Everything wrong with it. I mean, I am not intelligent enough or articulate enough to quite explain how wrong this kit is for Chelsea.
I knew this would come up. I knew this would be one, which is a testament to how shocking it is. Just why? Where have you had the colours previously? Is there any...
No.
I can't quite comprehend the design process at Nike, especially when they'd be fully aware Crystal Palace exists. You can't just have someone else's like home kit colours, especially another London club, as your away kit. It doesn't make any feasible sense.
I can't do this one justice in terms of how wrong this kit is for everything that you think about when you think about Chelsea.
What I will say, I will be interested to see in like 10 years if that's like edgy because it's so not Chelsea, but it is a Chelsea kit, and then it is worn at festivals.
Do you know what? I think history will be very unkind. Like Tangerine and Graphite, I think that history's been very good to that kit. At the time, people were like, what on earth are you doing? Whereas now, as you so perfectly put it, it's festival kit. You can't be a Chelsea fan at a festival and be mistaken for a Crystal Palace fan. Like, you can't risk that.
Oh, yeah, from behind.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't miss
Oh, Wilfred's... Oh, no. All right.
This is the jewel in the crown of dreadful kits, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 1.5.
Yes, thank you. There we go. Stern judging.
Right, second one.
Okay, second one is, it's our away shirt from 1998, and it's completely white. This isn't always a bugbear of mine, but on this kit, it's an auto glass kit, completely white, blue collar. There is a shade of Leeds United to it, I believe.
Okay.
But there is one other thing, Kieran. I'm interested in your thoughts on this. It doesn't always wrangle with me, but generally speaking, I think that the club badge, the club crest, should be over the heart.
A lot of people assume that things like badge in the middle and especially no sponsor, they immediately go, oh, amazing, which I would disagree. I think the badge in the middle I like on this. I actually quite like this kit. I think it's hard to go wrong with a white kit, and I like that they haven't just picked one other colour. They've got a little bit of yellow, a little tertiary colour in the collar. Now the collar is a little bit strange because it's got a little point to it, but I like it. The auto glass sponsor and Old Umbro is really helping as well, and it's got sort of monochrome front. So I'm going to give this kit 7.5.
Okay, that did way better. That actually did better than some of the kits that I was suggesting that we shouldn't be liking.
This is what my eyes do. They feast on what they want to feast on.
I'm surprised that one got as much love as it did, but I'm sure that this one will not. We're going to go to 2016-17, which I think was the last Adidas before Nike took over. There are a few things that I'm not particularly impressed with. My major issue with it is, within the fabric, interwoven into the fabric, is the Chelsea crest, which just looks quite distracting. I just think that, a crisp, clear, royal blue is all that's needed. It doesn't need this sort of shadow decorative silhouette of a crest. I just found it a bit of a wind-up.
Ooh, so I would say that was the one piece about that kit that I actually quite liked. I can't remember in person how vivid it is. If it's like incredibly subtle, then it's fine. But in general, the rest of the kit, it's a V-neck, and I'm not a fan of the Adidas stripes down the side, from the armpit down to the bottom. I feel like it's integral that they exist on the shoulders 90% of the time. Yokohama tires, just dreadful as a sponsor. Just looks honking. So I'd agree, this is a stinker. So I'm going to give this I'll give it a 2.
A 2. Well, okay. There we go. I'm impressed now. This is what we were chasing. Some serious scoring from you. Very unforgiving.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no feelings involved. Unless it's a City kit. No feelings involved.
Do you know where I sit for my next suggestion? It's a very difficult one for me, right? Which is why I'm bringing it to the table. Because personally, I quite like it. But it's just not a Chelsea kit.
I've never seen that before. That is remarkable.
Do you know what it reminds me of? There was a time when I was very young. Chelsea played against Coventry City, and there was a mistake. Chelsea didn't take a kit. There's quite iconic photographs of Chelsea playing Coventry, and you can find Mark Hughes playing for Chelsea, but in a Coventry kit. Because Coventry lent Chelsea their away kit. And this, to me, feels like that. It's like, oh, hang on, whose kit have we had to borrow? Because there is nothing Chelsea about that kit.
That is remarkable. One, that I've never seen that before, and two, that there's like 2 photos of it.
It's a tricky one to find.
If you wore that to like a game now, but like everyone would be like, holy, what is that?
Mate, it's just not Chelsea, is it? It's more in keeping with Liverpool than it is Chelsea.
I'm gonna give it a 6. It's very Marmite-y. I feel like the one day I see it, I'm like, that's pretty cool. It's like it's interesting that they just had a massive red kit. And then other days I'll be like, well, that's ugly, isn't it? It's got like a checkered pattern on it, like a subtle, so some of it's shiny, which is slightly odd. I feel like 6 is is a perfect answer because I'm trapped between liking it and not liking it. So 6 seems the ideal number.
Perfect. I think that's fair.
So your final kit.
2014-15, away from home, all yellow. This is going to be the kit that people will presumably dislike massively. I, again, sit somewhere in between, but I just think it's very garish.
Yeah, it seems excessive having an entirely yellow kit. It would look better if it was white rather than yellow.
Yes. Yeah.
I think. Your badge looks a bit odd without the little red in it. I think the red in the badge like pops quite well. I think it would improve this kit even by half a point. So that always brings it down when I see something where I'm like, if they just did that tiny change, it would be a good kit. Because it just looks like the colours like faded in the wash on the badge.
Yeah, I think that's my issue with it. I don't think that the level of vibrancy in the yellow is prominent enough. Like, you know, if you're going to go bold, I think that you have to commit. I think that you have to commit massively, and you might as well go fluorescent. If you're going to go all yellow, do it.
If you're going to have like a pink kit, for example, don't go salmon. Go like hot pink. Go brutally pink.
It was a team that I empathise with massively and look back on so fondly. But I just think that they were done dirty by this slightly faded yellow kit.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I'm going to give it a 1. The lowest. The lowest today. I just think there's nothing about it. There's just no personality to it. So, yeah, just a stinking 1.
Fair. I think I'm with you on that.
Thank you so much for being the first on bringing your kits along. Go over to Rory's channel, subscribe, check him out. I'm sure you know Rory already. He's a lovely man. Unfortunately, supports Chelsea, obviously. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.